Well, let's get more detail on the situation on the ground in Ukraine now. I'm joined by retired Air Vice Marshal Sean Bell. Good to see you. Why don't we start with Crimea? A lot of activity there.
Yeah, we've seen down in Crimea the third big attack in the last 10 days, targeting jets, ammunition dumps, military facilities. Ukrainians have not claimed responsibility for it. Russia has claimed that there were accidents. Well, in fact, as satellite imagery shows, there's been some very effective precision strikes against military capabilities on Crimea.
A lot of concern about this nuclear plant. Where's that going?
Yeah, I mean, any nuclear facility, you don't want to see conflict on the doorstep of it. That's grave news. The Russians have been involved in Zaporizhzhia held that Zaporizhzhia for since March. So why has this suddenly come to the attention now? Well, the reality is it's become a hotspot at the front line of the war, with Kherson out to the left there, Zaporizhzhia off the right-hand side of the Dnipro River, and both sides trading artillery blows across the Dnipro River. Worryingly, the Russians appear to be their troops hiding within the nuclear facility and then firing outbound from that at Ukrainian troops. Clearly, what are the Ukrainians going to do? The temptation is to fire back, which would have grave consequences. International community has asked for that to be demilitarized. Russia have dismissed that out of hand, which is a really clear testament of how much they disregard and the worrying risks of having warfare right next to a nuclear facility.
Of course, yeah. Lots going on. What's the bigger picture?
Yeah, well, if we look at the bigger map here, the war of attrition that has been fought in the Donbass region, we'll have another slide hopefully in a moment, but the Russians have been making steady advances from the Donbass despite heroic Ukrainian resistance. But the reality is that unless Ukraine somehow gains the upper hand, they are going to lose that. As a result, what seems apparent is that President Zelensky decided to focus on down to the southwest, down in Kherson. Kherson is really important because the Russians hold it. They'll see that as a stepping stone to Odessa, and therefore President Zelensky has made very clear he wants to liberate Kherson. The way he's doing that is he's taken out all the bridges down the Dnipro River down here, which stops the Russian reinforcements coming in, and he's also been targeting the reinforcements and the ammunition dumps in Crimea, setting the conditions for a potential liberation. The trouble is, from a Russian perspective, they clearly do not want to give up Kherson. They are moving thousands of troops down from the Donbass region down to the south. That leaves the Donbass region particularly light in terms of forces. And yesterday, for the first time in 6 months, since the start of this campaign, there were no territorial gains by either side, as any analysts or either side claiming them. There is still artillery fire going on, probably the Russians just trying to keep the Ukrainians fixed. The key point here, though, is that Ukraine, for the first time, is starting to seize the initiative in this conflict. There's a limited window of opportunity for weather-wise before the rains of the autumn and the winter come in. Therefore, and when off-road and manoeuvre warfare becomes very difficult, therefore, from 8 to 10 weeks now, we're expecting to see fierce fighting as both sides compete to try and get advantage before the inevitable winter operational pause.
Yeah, and on it continues. Sean, thank you.